Hey guys, Jay here. So I want to make this video as quickly as possible talking about some new information on the Black Monk character that I am planning to build. It is going to be a Pillar of the Cage God build. So this is a scalable item with attribute, and I think it's a pretty cool concept, and I want to make a character around it. My initial plan was, let me just show you the skill tree here a little bit. My initial plan was I will be going for the Titan because it has the hulking form. So what I thought was hulking form is going to give you 50% more strength from all the small attribute nodes that you are going to get from the skill tree, but apparently that is not the case. I got informed by someone who already tested it out that actually hulking form just doesn't work with those nodes for some reason, even though they actually are just small nodes. I am not sure if it is a bug or is intended, but anyway, for a build that pretty much all the things that we are kind of taking is just a lot of small travel node for 5 strength. Basically, it's just throw the build out a window. Right, so everything else we can get from here. The life is nice, the armor is nice, but you know, all the other stuff are kind of like useless for the build. That is why I have to make the decision to actually re-roll another time. So right now I just abandoned my level 38 Warrior Titan. It was going very strong. It had 437 strength, if I remember correctly, but over 400 strength at level 38. Huge amount of HP, huge amount of damage, as the previous video I already showcased. So it feels very, very strong, very tanky, very comfortable. But anyway, I will, and I am already re-rolling as a new character. And this Ascendancy is going to be the Gemling Legionnaire. And let me explain why. Skill tree is going to look roughly like this. I will just include the skill linked in the description. This link to the version of the skill tree. And you can follow if you want, but I want to talk quickly about it. Go straight up here, go to this side, get all the strength stuff here, get beef, get blade catcher, get unbending, get brute strength, and then the rest you can get later, but for now you stop there. Then you go down, you get polymathy, and then you go straight this way and get the quarterstaff node, and then you start at this point you already are like at the end game already. And then you can start to basically take a bunch of crit stuff, and you can take the additional accuracy per strength, additional accuracy on crit strike. So this is a increase to accuracy. And then you can take a little bit of more attack speed scaling with attack speed per 250 accuracy. So we are going to have a decent amount of, you know, little extra scaling here and there. But mostly we are going to get a lot of strength, and then eventually we are going to get a lot of crit. So this is the best crit node probably. We can get some of the crit here, some of the crit here, and maybe other places as well. This is just a very rough skill tree. Probably it is supposed to be changed a little bit. I'm not entirely sure, but if it changed, I will update the link to the mobility page, right? And I will also link the mobility page so you have rough idea of what the skill jam setup is planned to be, so you know you can follow. It is kind of put in order as well of importance, so whichever you have you just put in here, right? Priority, the first one is better than the second one, then the third one, you know, those kind of things. So these are going to be the things that is going to be included in the description of the video. But now I want to talk a little bit about the Ascendancy. Why do I choose to reroll as the Gemling Legionnaire? So I already mentioned this Ascendancy. It has inherent bonuses from intelligence, strength, and dexterity are double. So at the worst case scenario, we are looking at, if you have, like, let's just say in the endgame build, like 1,000 strength, which is a totally reasonable amount of strength that we can get from the build. Let's say 1,000 strength for the purpose of easy calculation. So normally it gives you 2,000 flat life. With this node, it's just another 2,000. So your character is just from the strength already have like 2,000, 4,000 total. And then from gear, from, you know, other stuff, you probably get like another 1,500 to 2,000. So overall, your character is looking at somewhere from 5.5k life to 6k life, which is an insane amount of life in POE2. And other than that, the other stuff, actually you can get a bunch of options. So you can go this way. I think this is probably the most simple and straightforward and comfortable way. So get the quality skill gem. This is going to give you a bunch of different bonuses. For example, it is going to give you extra attack speed on your axe strike, for example. It can give damage on bell or this, or a lot of different things depending on which gem you are using. So I think this is a very comfortable things to take. And then one additional level of skill as well, just very comfy. Other than that, we can also take this route to get additional mitigation for elemental damage, but I think we already have a lot of life. So maybe this will be very good for like tanking the very strong stuff in the end game. I'm not sure. Maybe we can mess around with it, but we can always change around and just try to experiment a little bit. But for now, I think this is probably the easiest way and most straightforward. So we don't need to think too much and try to min-max. We can also use the 2 copies of the same support gem. This can be very, very powerful because the amount of power that you can get from each support gem is actually not close to each other. Some of them are actually very strong, just numerically, just a very big multiplier, and if you can apply that big multiplier to more than one skill, it can be extremely helpful. Same goes for, some of the utility support gem as well. So yeah, overall, I think this is probably what I will be going for, and then later I will maybe test some of this out. Right, so that is for the Ascendancy. Basic idea is, again, stack a lot of strength. The strength is going to give you accuracy from a skill tree, increased damage from a skill tree, maximum life by default, additional, like double the amount maximum life from the Ascendancy, and then weapon damage from the weapon. So yeah, for the build, it still stay the same. We get a bunch of by the way, since right now I pretty much can confirm that Ice Strike is the best skill to use, and Leech is not that great for Ice Strike. So I think for these runes, the best one is probably going to be cold damage. It's not going to be physical, so I will need to completely redo this weapon, which is going to suck a lot. Numerically, the added cold damage is going to be the best. This is not really going to cut it. Increased physical damage, I think it is going to be roughly 20% weaker than the cold. Numerically, if just raw value, the lightning is going to be the highest number. However, the support gem that is the added cold damage thing, right? It reduced the lightning damage and fire damage. So since we are using a cold skill which convert a lot of physical to cold, I think scaling cold from the start is probably the best bet here. So the rune, personally, I would think that just socket the rune that give flat cold damage is going to be better than the physical here. It's not going to be the end of the world. I'm still destroying everything with this staff here, but you can be stronger with the added cold damage socketed into this. Other than that, I want to talk a little bit about the skill setup. So Ice Strike is going to be linked to a bunch of support gem that give you attack speed, and Crescendo for double the final strike, and then a bunch of like more multipliers to damage, right? So it's just very simple. And you will put the bell down on the boss. You can have like deep freeze on this one, so it frees the boss better. Blind for blinding, rage for generating rage, life theft for maybe a little bit of leech, some extra recovery might be nice. Maybe the mana leeches as well. Actually, I think it can be helpful. Anyway, I want to talk more about this. The hypothermia is a curse as well. It's very self-explanatory. The wind blast is just there for like utility. Sometimes if you want to kite something, this is a ranged spell, even though it is technically melee, but it's very, very far away. And it can knock back. You can link a bunch of stuff that is like maim if you want to slow them down as well. You can do Ruthless and Overpower like this one, which give you stun, because this already has a pretty good base built up for stun. So this is just like utility. You rarely, barely ever going to use this one, but because we have a bunch of extra sockets for gems, so yeah, here it is. For the reservation, so I think this is important. First of all, for this particular setup, you will need a total of 55 additional spirit in order to socket in all these three. So Overwhelming Presence, this is 30 spirit, Ice, Hero of Ice, 30 spirit, and Cast on Freeze is 60, so that is 120. By default, you have 100 if you completed all the spirit quests in the campaign. So you also want Vitality, which is an additional 20 reservation. It is 1% regen. Regen is extremely strong for this build because regen is based on maximum health, percentage of maximum health. So all of these percentage regen is going to be extremely strong comparatively to other sources. Leech is not going to be as strong. Recoup not as strong, and definitely not Flask. Flask is going to be just a little bit extra on top. So percentage is king for regen. And then you can do Cannibalism. I think this is just a huge, absolutely humongous quality of life. From the moment that I can put this into the setup, and I tried it on the warrior, I literally do not have to press my flask at all. My life flask to be specific. I don't have to press the life flask even once while I was just clearing everything, because my life would just recover so fast. It is percentage based, it's instant. So insane quality of life, insane recovery for like mapping or just running, clearing through the campaign. Obviously on bosses, on kill effect is not going to be as good, but I think it is totally worth it. Totally worth it, because you spend a lot of time running around killing stuff. So this is insane value for 15 additional spirit that you can actually quite easily get from like a amulet or a body armor. So 55 total is needed for this particular setup. Other than that, you linked a bunch of like increased AoE and then some cold stuff to Hero of Ice for the explosion, but just by itself is already very good. Not really necessary. I would prioritize putting the magnified effect on the Hero of Ice. I think that is probably the best one. And last but not least, on the Cast on Freeze, this is going to be purely for utility. Frost Bomb is going to by default apply cold exposure, which reduce the enemy's resistances, which inherently increase the damage they're going to take. And it is because this is a orb skill that is there for a duration, it can be supported by Font of Blood. This is going to constantly give you 2% regen. Again, percent regen, extremely strong. This is twice as strong as the Vitality. Vitality is worth it, so this definitely worth it. Again, Font of Rage, another font support. This is going to basically guarantee you to always have 30 rage, which is 30% more damage. Just 30% more melee damage, which is basically all your damage. So yeah, insane utility here. Strip Away is going to improve the exposure, so it reduces even more resistance. I think this is not as important as the other two. I think these two are so much better. So if you can invest the 5th link into this one, Strip Away, then that is going to be the case. And last, I don't think there's anything else that really matter, because we just need to trigger this like once in a while, once every like 5 seconds or something, 5-6 seconds. If you want to, you can put like increased duration here as well. I don't remember exactly the name, but it increased the duration of the spell. Then it will increase the duration of the Frostbomb. So with the just very recent nerf to Cast on Freeze, and basically every trigger skill is going to be gutted. So they are now pretty much just utility setup. So we are not going to have a problem, because this skill is a duration-based skill. So we are going to gain all the benefit from the exposure on monster, all the benefit from the regen, the rage regen as well. Very nice. And then yeah, this is the final setup that I think I will be going for. Obviously, all subject to change. I will include these two links in the description. So I will include this passive skill tree. I think this one is much better than the actual passive skill tree in the mobility, because it does have a kind of like the total amount of things that you can get from here. So it is easier to see. But if you want to, I will make sure this is, you know, the passive is also available here. So you don't need to go to two places. So suit your own preference. All right. So that is everything I want to share with you in this video today. So if you are following my build for the Titan Warrior and you plan to bring it to endgame, sorry, fair warning, that is not going to work very well in the endgame. 4 leveling is still amazing though, but in the endgame it is going to lose a lot of power because there's not as much synergy with the Ascendancy as it could have been. Gemling Legionnaire, I think, is probably going to be the best choice now, kind of obviously. And you know what? If this node does not only increase the base bonus of intelligence, strength, and dexterity, inherent is a wording that I'm not entirely sure what it means. But if it also doubles scaling like this, like increased damage per 15 strength, if it also, you know, improved the scaling of stun threshold per strength, accuracy per strength, that would be just pretty damn insane amount of power that you can get from that one single Ascendancy. But even without all of those, I think just a flat 2,000 extra life is insane. Extra life, not extra life. Alright. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. And to end this video, let me just go ahead and do this campaign boss. This is a Act 1 boss. Oh, the passive skill tree, I will go this way. Right? I would just go grab a bunch of this thing first. I think I already mentioned in the passive skill tree section. But grab this, and then we go down, we grab this, and then we go this way, we grab this. Very, very simple, because most of the thing we do is actually on the travel. The power we get from each of the travel point is insane compared to just a regular build. So, yeah. Anyway, let's finish the video strong with this boss. This is the first try. This is first try, obviously, because you see there's still ads here, right? That is the Herald of Ice explosion, so you clears very well. Obviously, this is a very low level, so there's a lot of stuff that I could not have included into the build. But the basic stuff you can already do in Act 1 is basically Ice Strike and the Bell and the Frost Bomb. Put down the Frost Bomb, hit him, put down the Bell, put down Frost Bomb again, and yeah, look at this. How is this even fair? I don't think this is even fair, and he barely even tickled me. Alright, so that is the first form. Ah, shit. Come on. You don't have to do me like that. He have to use all the move before he actually transform into the wolf. So we can do this, attack him a couple of times, put down the bell, and now we can just go ham. Look at this amount of pure good old damage. Bell again, and yeah, as you can see, I can actually tank a lot of stuff as well, because the amount of life that you have on this character compared to a normal character of the same level is insanely high. On the skill tree is super simple as well. You can see all that I took was just attribute. Early on, I would take some, for now it's 1 dexterity and 1 intelligence point, because I need some for using the skill early on. But other than that, just put everything into strength. And eventually, when you get to the point where you can get the Ascendancy, you can just respec all of those to strength. And you can change it. You don't need to respec the whole way. You can go to the refund passive, and you can just press on the note, and it can allow you to just change it to whatever attribute you want. It will still cost equal to the amount of gold that you would respecting that single point. So
Kill her.
yeah.
But first, please.
Anyway, let's just see what this boss is dropping. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you are playing this setup, I hope you have a great time with it. I do believe you will have a great time with it. So far, everybody who has played the setup has feedback with just overwhelmingly positive. So I think it is a pretty good setup. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And peace.